So, Richard, I don't know if listeners have figured this out yet or not, but I'm a little bit of an extrovert. And
And
you,
I'm a lot of an introvert,
yes.
a
And there's
lot.
today we're talking about networking, which networking is very different for introverts than extroverts.
Very.
And I think it's a really important topic to talk about as an introvert or an ambivert, really, which I feel like the older I'm getting, the more I need both and more of a balance of both. But
Yeah.
first of all, like, what is networking? Like, what do you think the idea that people have of networking is? And in your opinion, what do you think networking is?
I mean, my ideas of networking have shifted over the past couple of years. I mean, beforehand, it's was getting in, going to a conference, glad handing people, going to happy hours, exchanging cards, and possibly making connections there.
Hmm. Hmm.
And as I've become a coach, I've found that the networking is different for me now. And I sort of, and beforehand, I just sort of looked down on that.
Mm,
I thought it was just sort of like people just going to conferences and just not really getting anything done. And my ideas of networking have evolved now.
yeah.
And it's really about really making connections and having good conversations with people that could very well lead to clients, more job opportunities, things of that nature. And it's for an introvert, it's really hard for us to walk into a conference where we don't know anybody.
Mm.
A few months ago, I went to there was this there's the local chamber of commerce calls this particular conference the largest networking party.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's your typical ballroom
What a
setup.
nightmare. What a
Oh
nightmare.
God, oh my God. But I mean, the thing is, it's like everybody's in a big hotel ballroom, lots of people walking around offering you their card, stopping you for a conversation, and maybe somebody's cooking some food. So I was like, all right, let me get out of these conversations and have a bite to eat. And it's those types of things are draining
Yeah.
for us introverts because we have limited energy.
Hmm.
Our energy can be kind of limited, especially in a situation where we don't know anybody.
Hmm.
And it's very hard to make connections and think of witty things to say on the fly while we're talking and grabbing somebody's card. And so maybe we need to prepare a little bit differently
Yeah.
for these types of things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just want to acknowledge that like networking feels awkward because it is, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, it is. And as someone who like, I approach it as like, oh, this will be fun. I'm going to meet people and hear stories and maybe make some connections, but I just think it's like kind of a fun thing. But the reality is it's really odd. Like you're not stopping people all the time at the grocery store or at the gas station or like, hi,
Right.
I'm Megan. How are you? Like, what do you do? Like,
Right.
what? And I think sometimes the other awkward part of it is you're there to meet multiple people. So sometimes you're like, well, it was great to meet you. I'm going to keep moving on. I mean, I've literally said that, like, well, it's
Mhm.
wonderful to meet you. I'm going to go meet some other people, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
It's just we're awkward. Like,
It's
as,
very
as
awkward
someone who
because
loves the Irish goodbye, it's a little awkward.
I mean, I've, I don't want to be awkward and I don't want to be rude.
Right. Yes.
I don't want to be rude, but I can feel sometimes the conversation like, all right, starting to peter out a little bit and
Yeah.
let me pirouette my way out of this and to the next table. That's
Right.
what I'm trying to do. And with some of these conferences, I'll do maybe 2 or 3 laps
Hmm. Hmm.
and then
Yeah.
bail out.
Yeah.
And having a plan for these things sometimes really helps.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you can plan, whether it's a conference, whether it's a chamber lunch, whether it's a holiday party, like whatever. Like
Yeah.
how do you plan for networking other than like going and talking to people?
Yeah, right. I I plucked this from a conference I went to back in late 2024
Mhm.
I'm in New Jersey. This conference was in San Diego. So already there's the energy spend of having to fly across the country.
Oh my God, Richard,
So
we are so different. I'm like, what
yeah,
a dream. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to listen to a podcast.
I was I spent the time just staring out the window of the plane. But one of the things I did was prepare.
Yes.
If you can get the conference schedule ahead of time,
Yes.
that's great. You
Mhm.
can lay out your schedule and sort of figure out, okay, I want to go to this session, this session, this session, and portion my time and energy smartly.
Yeah.
And another thing to think of that I thought about as an introvert was, where am I going to sit?
Mm.
And because again, we're in this big conference room, I think hundreds of people in this particular conference. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, where am I going to sit? So I found a place at the back of the hall
Okay.
in the corner
Mhm.
near the door, near one of the doors. So if I needed to escape,
You can step
so
out. Yeah.
step out easily. And introverts tend to be observers.
Mhm.
And so I sort of sat in a corner so I could see the room.
Mhm.
So I just could see who was there, who was standing up and saying something, and it just put me at ease. It helped me sort of get a sense of what the room was like.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to take personal breaks. If you
Yes.
need to go out and just like, okay, this is enough.
Right.
I'm done. I'm walking out the door.
Yeah.
And while you're at the conference, the second part, it's okay. You don't have to fall victim to FOMO,
Okay.
because a lot of these conferences, they're happy hours and people meeting for drinks and people going out for dinner and people going out after that day's events. And it's like, you don't have to. If you
Right.
don't want to, if you're feeling zapped out, it's totally fine. Just like, okay, I'm just going to call room service and
Yeah.
just watch sports for us to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think there's this, I don't know if you felt this way, but whether you're going to a $25 networking lunch or a multi-thousand-dollar conference, you want to get your quote unquote money out of it, right? Like,
Right.
I think there's this idea of like, if I don't get my money's worth out of this thing, it was a failure. So
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
letting that go a little bit, right? Like,
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
probably important because rest is part of the process. It sounds like what you're saying.
Absolutely. Because you're an introvert, you're taking in all this information. It's okay to just disconnect from it. One of the things I like to do and did for this conference in San Diego, which I've never been to San Diego before, was like, okay, where's the conference? Where's the hotel? And what are the restaurants the around the around the venue? And I telling you, I had the best breakfast burrito I've ever had at this little food stand across the street from the hotel during a lunch break. I spent that time, again, beautiful day, just watching people walk up and down the Embarcadero in San Diego. And that helped me reset myself,
Mhm.
reset my energy, helped me show up better to the afternoon events.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think also when you're going into a networking situation, again, I think everybody has this idea in their mind of why they're there. Like, I'm trying to find a job or I'm looking for a specific thing. And I think it's perfectly okay to say, dude, I just had the best burrito yesterday. Do you know about this place? Or like, I love talking about movies and TV because
Mhm,
almost everybody can relate to that. It's like, hey, are you watching anything good?
mhm,
I just finished Game of Thrones or whatever it is, right? Like,
mhm.
use something more topical. I just finished
Yeah,
Heated
yeah.
Rivalry or whatever. And
Mhm.
like, I think it is totally fine to connect with people on a
Yes.
human level.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel so awkward and draining, right? Like
And
I think
stiff,
that's
and
fine. It's
stiff.
stiff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that rest is part of that too. So you're not just like a robot going into it and like I need to do X.
Mhm,
Um if you're
mhm.
going to one of these networking sessions, whether it's a conference or again like a happy hour or a lunch with a speaker, the happy hour, I want to touch on it in a minute, but like
Okay.
if there is some sort of framework, like you said, there's some sort of agenda, there's a topic or whatever.
Mhm.
I also really like to either think of a question around that I can ask other
Good point.
people to
Good
like
point.
kind of move the conversation
Mhm.
forward. Or in
Mhm.
conference sessions, if someone's asking questions or making a point, I make a mental note of who that person is. So when
Yeah.
you're at the 1,200 person lunch and you feel like the 8-year-old in the cafeteria, you're like, where did I sit? It's like, oh,
Mhm.
hey, I saw you in the bup session. Loved your question. Do you mind if I sit
Mhm.
down? You know, and then like,
Mhm.
so I think all of that to say, you do have to have a plan, but everything I just said takes a lot of work. It is
It
work.
does.
It's
It is work.
energy.
And
Yeah.
one of the things to also keep in mind after the conference ends,
Mhm.
right, is give yourself time to recover.
Right.
All right. Because when I flew back to the East Coast, I took a red eye. All
Oof.
right.
Yeah.
I got back here at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And the one thing I did not do that day was any work.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, because all I wanted to do was sleep. You've got to find ways to get that energy back, and just having a quiet day at home, not taking any calls, not doing any work is going to help you out immensely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like also making a plan for follow-up, and
Yes.
what that looks like.
Hmm.
Again,
Hmm.
going into it so that if you say, you know what, I'm going to wait for my follow-up until after the conference,
Yeah.
fine. If
Yeah.
it's every night, I am going actually not out to dinner and I'm going to do my follow up while I have Sports Center on and I'm eating
Yeah.
food. That's
Hmm.
fine too. Right. But like not sort of planning for that again, I think can then make you feel like, oh no, I'm behind or,
Hmm.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I do think that networking is really important in person. And I think it could be like this via Zoom, but
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know about you. I get like random, I mean, LinkedIn. Ugh, LinkedIn is like the fifth circle of hell, but it's required. And like it, when someone's like,
Yeah.
I was thinking about software as a service at my wedding, and you're like, what are you talking about? Like,
What?
or whatever.
Come
Like
on.
people
Yeah.
put all this stuff on there that I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, that's my
Yeah.
issue with LinkedIn. But I'll get sort of random people every now and then trying to connect,
Hmm.
or it's like, oh, I saw you're connected to so and so, and I'm trying to meet more people in the field,
Hmm.
wanted to reach out. In
Okay.
that case, I'm like, cool, but there's no call to action, right? So I'll usually say,
Right.
like, hey, nice to meet you. Let's do virtual coffee on a Zoom or something like that.
Bingo. Yes.
And I think there's kind of two things that I'm talking about, not succinctly, is one, there kind of has to be a call to action. I just said like it is good to talk about like movies, TV, whatever, but it's
Mhm.
also like, hey, I'm Megan and this is what I do. And
Mhm.
I'm struggling with AI and I'm really looking for people who can help me create AI automations for my website, whatever. Do you have experience with that? Do you know someone I can talk to? And if someone says no, that's fine, right? It's totally fine. But when you're just leaving it sort of nebulous, it goes literally nowhere.
Nowhere.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
and I think so. I think if you are going to do that cold outreach, whether it's an email, a LinkedIn request, something like that, you have to be a little bit more specific other than I'd
Yeah.
like to add you to my network.
That's a great point. That's a great point because you have to give somebody a reason to want to reply to that message.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And one one of the things about one of the things that we as introverts have to deal with and the balance is yes, we're quiet, we have our energy is different. And at the same time, we have to be in these rooms to advance our careers. And so I've I've started over the past couple of years feeling like and believing that the the real goal to me of networking is in the one-on-one conversations that you have with
Mhm.
people. Sending those follow-ups a couple of days after, hey, thinking about you. Hey, really nice to meet you at the conference. Let's have that virtual coffee soon.
Mhm.
And those are the places where we shine
Mhm.
because we love having one-on-one conversations with people. And that's the perfect opportunity to really connect with others.
Yeah.
And a great example of this that I've come across is I was home in Virginia over the Christmas holiday, and there's a guy that I met through a networking group who lives not that far from my mom.
Mhm.
And so we figured out schedules and times to meet. And so on my way back up to New Jersey from Virginia, I stopped off in Fredericksburg and had a coffee with this guy. This guy, smart as hell, great guy, Marine, awesome people. And we've had great conversations. Those in-person conversations were fantastic because they sparked ideas in both.
Mhm.
And to me, that's the value of networking is
Yeah.
having those ideas, having those ideas spark in our brains.
Yeah.
And again, for introverts, that's especially true. And again, that's the place that we can shine very well.
Do you ever feel like, and this, I shouldn't assume this for all introverts, but do you feel like there is a little bit of a fear factor going into a situation where you don't know people, or is it more about like managing the energy?
Both.
Both? Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I've started doing is going over the past year, going to a local networking group
Hmm.
about once or twice a month. And the first couple of times I went, I was nervous as all get out because I didn't know anybody there.
Right.
And either one of these places is like, oh God, what do I need to have? What kind of conversations am I going to have? How wiped out am I going to be after this?
Right. Right. Right.
And it's been, I think, fruitful because I've met friends, I've built relationships with people, I've learned things about, again, every time I go to these events, I learn something.
Right.
And so, yeah, there's fear and there's the energy part of it as well. And it's never easy for me, but it's manageable now. So you got to stretch a little bit. I know,
Yeah.
and it's hard for introverts to sort of manage that, but the stretch will benefit you
Yeah.
if you keep the reps up.
I think also we probably should have started here. It's like we need community, right? Like, and
Yes.
I think in the work that
Yes.
we do, it's so individually focused, and it is really important for even in that work, like to be a reminder of community for a
Mhm.
variety of reasons.
Yeah.
But you cannot do whatever you're doing in life by yourself. You need
No,
other people. And
you
so
do.
if you can sort of approach networking that way of like, we're all coming together because we believe that value, right?
Mhm.
I think that makes it a little bit easier. And I think also don't sleep on some of the activities or the groups that don't feel like work. So both of us are
Mhm.
runners.
Mhm.
And if you're part of a run group, talk to people about stuff that you're doing, right? Because you really never know. And then it doesn't feel forced, right? I
Right.
can't tell you how
Right.
many times people have referred people to me, or I've been like, oh, that's what Jen was talking about the other day. Let me send
Mhm.
this to her or whatever.
Mhm.
And that's just friendship, right? But it
Yeah.
also is networking. Like,
Yes.
so,
Mhm.
so
It
I
can
think
take different forms.
yeah, so I think like next time you're at the cocktail party or next time you're within whatever group or community, whatever that looks like for
Mhm.
you, you might be at the PTA meeting. Like,
Yeah.
and you may not necessarily think like, "Oh, I'm networking right now."
Mhm.
It's the same kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's a very extrovert thing of me to say. It's like strangers are just friends I haven't met yet. But like, I think don't sleep on those groups that, you're already in community with.
If somebody's doing something really interesting or in an interesting profession, that fear barrier gets lowered when you ask that person about what they do.
Right.
And that conversation can go off in many different great directions.
Yeah.
So, one way to sort of alleviate that fear is just plain old curiosity.
I think it's one of those things too where like not every community is going to be your community, and that's also
Yes.
okay. But it's
And
part of
that's
that process, like you said, of being curious and figuring that out.
you said something very interesting beforehand, and you reframed networking as an act of service.
Yes.
And that blew my mind.
Yeah.
And what do you mean by that?
Yeah. So I think oftentimes we think of networking as I'm going into this event and I need to get 10 client leads or I need to find a new job or whatever,
Mhm,
right? Like it's
mhm.
very self-focused.
Yeah.
I like to go in and I'm there for a reason, right? Like I'm there for whatever reason it is, but I like to go into it and think like, I'm going to meet some people. I'm going to find a connection point and I am going to be of service to someone. And
Yeah.
the reason I kind of think that is if everybody went into it, there's a natural way that we're actually helping each other. So
Yes.
I may go in and I meet you and you're looking for, I keep saying this, Richard, you're going to write a book. So you want to write a book and you're like, you know what? I really want to write a book. I would love to find a book coach. That's why I'm here. And I could say, you know what? I I have a podcast where I interviewed someone who worked with a book coach. Let me get back to you on that. Right. I may
Yeah.
not ask you for anything, or we're talking and there's nothing you can provide me. Right. But so I have now made a connection with you. I
Yeah.
follow up with you.
Yeah.
And from our conversation, it might be weeks later, and you're like, oh my gosh, Megan
Mhm,
talked about this thing. Let me connect her
mhm,
to this person, or let
mhm.
me reach out to her, or whatever it is. I think
Yeah.
when we can think about ourselves being of service to people in networking, it
Mhm,
makes it so much easier. It opens up so many more doors and
mhm.
you leave feeling good. Like,
Yeah. Because
um,
you're engaging with something greater than yourself.
than yourself. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Lisa Appia, who I've talked about before, she's an amazing, actually, she's an introvert career coach. And she helps people really navigate the corporate ladder as an introvert. And one of the things that she tells clients is when you go into any networking event, whether it's a conference like you said, or something smaller, the goal can be I'm going to talk to one person.
Bingo.
And I think
Bingo.
again, like I've made the rule for myself that networking, I'm going into it with a view of
Mhm.
service.
Yeah.
You can make whatever rules you want around the networking.
Mhm, exactly. And
Like
if all you can handle is just making that connection with one person, go for it and
amazing.
make it the best connection that you can.
Because Richard, how many people are you connected to?
Oh God. On
Like
LinkedIn?
let's just say realistically, if I
Oh,
came to you and said, "Hey, Richard, I'm serious about this book thing. Can you help me out? I need someone to help me get started."
mhm,
There's probably a good list of people that you
mhm.
can go to, right? Like
Yep. Yep.
I don't know how many connections I have, probably a couple of hundreds rather. But I would say I have 50 to 100 people in a circle that I keep up with and that I feel extremely comfortable with. So if
Yes.
you talk to me, one
Mhm.
person, you now have access to, let's say, 75 to 100 people that you didn't
Right.
before. And if you think
Right.
about it that way, it
Mhm.
really reframes it for you. Right? Like,
It's like a web. It's like a
yeah,
web.
it's like a network. Yeah, go
There
figure.
it is.
There it is. We get to define what the rules are for ourselves. And I think it's completely
Mhm.
fine to say we may have this idea in our head of networking is, but I want to go in and you know what? My stretch is I want to talk to 5 people.
Right.
Or as an extrovert, I want to have two really good conversations versus
Mhm.
get 30 cards around the room.
There you go.
Like,
Yes. Yes.
and
It
we have to
ma
define that.
and making that goal manageable,
Yes.
right? It's not it's sometimes it feels like you have to go on a sprint and grab every single card that you possibly can,
Right.
but you don't get anything out of that,
Right.
right? It's like, cotton candy almost. It's like cotton candy tastes great, but it really doesn't do anything for you.
Right.
But on the opposite end, those two conversations that you had with the bank officer, for example,
Sure.
those that might come in handy sometime down the road.
Mhm.
And so it's important to keep that in mind. And it's also important to keep in contact with people.
100%.
Yeah. Just,
100%.
just send out an email. Hey, thinking about you. Hope everything's going well. That's all you got to say.
It really is keeping people in mind,
Yeah.
right? Like about whatever. Sometimes it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I saw this article and thought of you and you shoot it off. I think you have to be a little fearless. Like I was saying before we
Yeah.
started recording, I am a shameless, fearless texter. Like I maybe haven't talked to you in 5 years, but I'm like, oh, I saw this thing.
Mhm.
Like I'm going to send it to you. Or I know what you're doing on LinkedIn. We haven't worked together for 10 years, but I know what you're doing. So let me send this to you, right? Or let me
Yeah.
make this connection.
Yeah.
You're not going to find connections with everybody.
Mhm.
And that's totally fine.
And
Like,
and sometimes you have to go through that in order to find your people and to find your community.
right, right.
And you got to give yourself that chance.
And I can't tell you how many people have said, like, oh, and I love this. I love the honesty of like, no, have you talked to so and so? No, I haven't. Oh, they're right over here. Let me introduce you. They
Oh,
might be interested.
yeah.
And like legitimate, don't do it to just like pass someone on. But like, I can't tell you how many times people have said, like, not me, but and walked me over and it made an introduction.
Mhm.
And that
Mhm.
is so lovely. And I've done that to people as well. Like, oh, you know who you should meet? Let's
Yeah.
go. And if you can make that introduction, it just makes it easier for people.
And you got to give yourself a chance.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself that chance to at least get it. Sometimes it takes a no to get to a yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what happens when you leave a networking event and you're like, that was a bust?
Oh, wow. Don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
It's part of the process where you go someplace, you go to an event, and it's just like, right, I could have been doing something else tonight other than that.
Mhm.
And so it's like, don't get discouraged and and find other events that might be better suited for you.
Mhm.
And there might be, and I get it that some of these conferences just feel energy draining,
Mhm.
but you still have to give yourself a chance. You still have to, I've been saying this for a long time. It's either Wayne Gretzky or Michael Jordan said this. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah. Yeah.
So make sure that the shots that you're taking are good shots.
Yeah.
And again, it's very easy to get discouraged if you spent all this time, all this money, all this energy going to a conference and you got nothing out of it.
Right.
Maybe just thinking about this on the fly, maybe do an after action review.
I was about to say, I feel like instead of like reframing it as like, I didn't get anything out of this, it's like, okay, I feel like I didn't get anything out of this. Why? Like, what was it
Yes.
about this event that like didn't really, was it me? Was it the people? Was it the venue? Like, what was it so that
Lean
you
into that curiosity. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always say, make that mistake again. It's not a mistake. It's just so that you can refine it. So if you're Michael Jordan and well, that's a bad example. He can take a shot from anywhere. But if you're Michael Jordan and you keep shooting from half court and you're only making 50% of those shots, you're learning something from it, right? Like,
Bingo. Yes.
move up. And so I think I love the idea of like, do an audit afterwards.
Yeah. And see, was this the right time in your life to go to this particular conference?
Great
That could
point.
be it.
Great
That could
point.
be it. And maybe the next time you go to this conference and you bring an extrovert with you
Yep.
to run interference and help you grease the skids a little bit and start having these conversations.
Yeah.
That's an idea. So it wasn't a failure necessarily if you learn from it.
Yeah. Or you had a good burrito.
And you had, oh,
I can tell, Richard. I can tell.
I want to get on a plane, go back to San Diego to get that burrito.
I love it. I love it. I love it. The other thing as we were talking that I think is important too is don't necessarily rely externally on a networking group. Like, let's say you've met 6 or 7 people, jump on a Zoom. Like, that's where it's like, everybody bring a drink of choice, jump on a Zoom. Here's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
I've got a great example of this because for about a year now, I've been connected to a group of over 50 coaches, and we're in different spaces, and we have a monthly call.
Yeah.
And we have various topics that we talk about, and we talk about things like, okay, what did we have a win for the past month? And what did we learn over the past month?
Yeah.
And so that's having just ad hoc communities like that.
Yeah.
It's great to plug into. And you can get so many different ideas from people, and you can connect people to other people
Right.
through that network.
Right. And it's a little cozier, right? As an introvert, it probably feels a little cozier like these folks. And
Yeah.
there's that expected like pattern of when we're meeting and
Mhm.
schedule rather, not pattern.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you can also, again, you get to define the rules. So
Exactly.
that sort of thing. And the other thing too is I think you were talking about the one-on-ones, we're talking about the in-person and that sort of thing. I always approach networking as like a first date or like dating, right? And I think it's totally fine. Can you tell I'm an extrovert? But I think it's totally fine to say,
Okay.
like, hey, how was this? Like, do you want to do this again? Like, I think it's totally
Yeah.
fine to ask that.
Yeah. The introvert in me will like, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you want me to ask? But it's a great point just because you want to take the temperature
Yeah.
of what's happening.
Yeah.
And if there's synergy there,
Yeah.
okay, great. Have a second date.
Yeah. Exactly.
But if there's not, it's okay to, again, that's data that you can use
Right.
for your continuing events
Yeah.
that you get to.
So anything we didn't talk about, especially as an introvert, as it relates to networking?
It's too easy to stay at home and try to do your own thing.
Mhm.
And I, as an introvert, understand that it can be daunting to go into a room and talk to people.
Mhm.
And sometimes sometimes what's happened to me is somebody will come over to me and start a conversation, and then boom, we're off to the races. And so it's just stretching a little bit
Mhm.
and giving yourself the opportunity to not necessarily fail, but to learn.
Yeah.
And again, going back to the first date analogy, you never know the conversation is going to look like if you don't give yourself a chance.
Yeah.
So much of this is just giving yourself the opportunity to have a success,
Yeah.
which you can define.
Yeah. And I think if someone comes over to you and you're off to the races and you're vibing, again, say like, "Hey, I don't really know anybody here," or like, Is there
Yeah.
anyone I should talk to?" Right? Like,
Mm.
because that person who came over to you most likely is an extrovert.
Yep.
So
Yep.
just like saying, "Hey, you want to do this again, or you want to jump on a call later, or you want to be part of a networking group, or whatever."
Mm.
I think just as much as an event that doesn't work, if something is working, hey, ask that person, what other events do you go to? But like
Good
ask that
question.
person
Good
in the
question.
event, right? Like
Mhm.
for help at the event and post event with that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I've said that before where I'm like, I don't know anyone here. And I got invited just like happenstance, right? And that has opened up so many doors for me. And
Mhm.
I've had people are like, stick with me. And I'm like, so,
And those people can, for introverts, can be gold.
Mhm.
I mean, because it makes the barriers up for entry smaller.
Right.
You don't have to expend so much energy trying to get the vibe of the room. Somebody comes over to you and they look interesting, they're interested in you, and it's just like, all right, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Tell me what's happening. Who should I be talking with?
Yeah.
And again, remember that being the places that you shine, and that's yes, getting in that room, it's going to be a stretch, and follow up.
Yeah. Follow
Have
up.
those one-on-one
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think like as you said, with a plan, name the thing,
Yeah.
whatever the thing is. It's
Mhm.
I don't know anybody here, or I'm looking to write a book and I don't know where to start. Do you have any connections for that? Or going in with that plan makes it a little bit easier. And I think
Mhm.
as an extrovert, what I just said about saying like, I don't know anybody here, or like I got invited to this event and it's awesome, but I'm not like in this network. Can you help?
Yeah.
Sometimes as an extrovert, I think sometimes we think we should know, right? Like,
Mhm. Mm.
and I think it's okay as an extrovert to lean into that network a little bit more for not necessarily like the career thing or whatever it is. Actually expanding the point of the network is to expand the network, like not the thing.
And like you said,
Yeah.
and think of it as an act of service.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes it a little bit easier to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think these are all really great tips for introverts and non-introverts alike. Well, I feel like we solved it, Richard. We've not only how introverts can network, but also what they should eat, what they should drink or not drink.
Yeah, exactly. So go out, yes, do the networking and have those conversations. That's where the gold is.
That's where it is. And it can be one conversation. It doesn't have to be 15.
Yep.
Rest.
Whatever your speed is.
Rest is part of the work. And the follow-up is where the magic happens.
Absolutely.
So awesome. Yeah. We did it.
Great. Fantastic.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Richard sent me a link to the Neurodiversion conference.
Yeah.
And that's going to be in Austin, March 20th through 22nd. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about this? Because it looks really cool.
I mean, it feels like the perfect conference for anyone who is neurodivergent and the people who are around them and who, support them. Yeah. And it's really friendly to, seems like it's really friendly to their energy, how to be neurodivergent. Well, yeah, how to be neurodivergent in a society that's not quite ready for you.
Yeah, it says here, like, it's so cool. It says, whether you have ADHD, autism, or just know you're wired differently, this is the community you've been looking for. Like, struggling to find people who truly understand how your mind works. The Neurodiversion is a carefully crafted 3-day experience for people who think, plan, and process differently. So exactly to your point, like,
it's because conferences are overwhelming.
Yeah.
Especially, and if you're a part of that community, there's a performative aspect of a lot of these conferences where you have to go to the happy hour, you have to, smile and have conversations with people.
Right.
But it seems like that pressure at neurodiversion is not there at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. And like,
fantastic.
There's some cool things. I'm looking at the agenda now. It actually looks really cool. Like, there's the opening session, there's like quiet rooms available while you're waiting for the session to start, or like there's body doubling sessions. So like, if you're struggling to get your follow-ups done, like, I love body doubling. I think it's such an awesome tool. This is really cool. So we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely. And this is something that I want to see more of. And I would love to see more conferences to sort of think about how people process what they are going into.
Yeah.
And design their conferences a little bit more smartly.
Yeah.
And not just have one template for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important for you to advocate for yourself, which is really everything that you've been talking about, like making that plan for you. But this seems like it has a lot of really smart people who understand maybe what some of those needs are, and it's just built in, what a gift, right? Like,
it's a great gift. It really is. And, having more opportunities like this is such a great thing. And it needs to be support.
Yeah, I agree. Awesome. Well, we'll put this in the show notes. It looks like it's in Austin this late March. So it looks
late March. Yeah, I think it starts 20th or 22nd.
Yeah, 20th to the 22nd. And I will say another part of networking is, if you can't make this conference, but you're interested in something like it, reach out to the organizers and see if they know of any other ones, right? That's networking.
That's networking.
Yeah.
Make that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you sent this, and this was a great conversation.
I enjoyed the conversation. Love speaking up for introverts.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.